one of the benefits of doing the laundry here is, of course, this allows for the washer to drain when it's time to do rinse and spin and so on. But the outlet is right there. It's away from the water, but it's close enough for me to plug the washer in. And that helps me to be able to get through here. Now, the washer is here right now. My floor is a mess, so I don't want to show it. I've been sick for 3 weeks. Well, not 3 weeks, 2 weeks. But anyway, had COVID. And so this just allows me to have it right here. Right now, there's space for me to get in. And then while the washer is going, if I need to get in here, I can. But I don't usually do anything that will use water. And so let me get this hooked up. Since there is a leak in this area, only when the cord or the hose for the washer is hooked up here, then what I'm trying to do is take and put some duct tape, and I made it into strips this thick and wrapped it around there. Now it's wrapped around 3 times. Then I put a towel back behind here, which I'll show in a minute, and then get this hooked up so that I can do my laundry. So there's the towel, and I have it going around here. But typically, if I take and shut this off while the machine is washing the clothes, and I don't have it on until I need to fill the tub of the washer, then that seems to help keep down the amount of water that gets on my counter. The first time I did it, there was water going all the way over here, and it was a mess. So this is one way to prevent it until I can afford to get a better faucet for this area. So this is the back of the washer, and of course the cord goes over and gets plugged in. I keep this together with the ties, and actually one of the ties that originally came with the washer. And then here is the hose that will get moved. And I don't know if I can do this while holding the phone. Nope. Hold on a second. Now, this will allow the drain hose to come here and go right into the sink. And then I'm going to take some white duct tape, which I have, to help hold this down into place so that the water will definitely go down into the sink. This is a great way to get that tank underneath cleaned out a little bit too. So I go ahead and I cut the strips and let it hang here, because that way I can manipulate it better than trying to get this tape down while unhooking the, while unraveling or unwrapping, whatever, the white duct tape. I like the white duct tape for this because it seems to be a little bit stronger for holding this in place so it doesn't jerk out and making a mess everywhere. Okay, now that it's taped down, I ended up getting a third one this time because I just wanted to try to make sure to have this flatter here. I don't know, I've only had 2 before, but I just want to make double sure. Just the way things have been going, you know, sometimes it's just, you think everything's going to be okay, and then it all falls apart. And it's been one of those days already, so I'm going to try to prevent this from coming off. One of the things I really appreciate about this Black & Decker washer is that they included this quick connect. So this is screwed into the faucet. Now, when there's pressure on this with this connected, this area leaks. So I will be wrapping that with some masking tape, duct tape, the gray. and trying to help prevent that, at least minimize the amount of leaking that comes out of here. So because of how it is, I'm going to have to do this off camera. Hold on. This is a two-handed process because this has got to be pulled down and I've got to hold this in place to push it up. But then it goes on very, very nicely. Now let me get that duct tape on here. Okay, there we are. It's wrapped up just to help lessen the leaking. But this time I did take some of the duct tape and pull this a little bit tighter. And so that it's a little bit more loose here. Hopefully that'll, that'll have less pressure on it. But when the water comes on, it does have more pressure. So just try to keep that to a minimum. Anyway, now it's time to take out my laundry supplies. These are the basics. Ooh, of course. So now that's empty and ready to fill. And let me get this going for the first load. Hold on. So I sprayed a little OxyClean in there. Of course, this doesn't take much. I did put a touch of Dawn in here because I really want these cleaned, and somehow the Dawn really helps. Oops, sorry about that. Camera loss, camera control. And so then this doesn't take hardly any soap at all. You really don't need that much when you're doing a big load anyway. In fact, I put even less in there. This is going to be doing some pillowcases and a couple of other things on the first load. I need those dry right away, but since I was sick with COVID, I want to make sure everything is nice and clean. I've been spraying it down and so on and washing it, but this really needs to be done. And now that I'm finally getting my voice back, I figured I would show a little bit more about my lovely washing machine that my youngest son gave me, youngest son and his wife. And it's so great to have it here. It's a challenge. Walking it would be very, very hard to just continually take these things out. Although I do need to make sure that I'm continuing to move and get up and down to help with my MS. But this is definitely a real blessing. So now that the detergent is in here, just hit the power. And then I'm going to come over here. Now this says heavy, but I'm just going to go normal. And then here it allows me to choose my load size. I want the largest size. And then this will go through an entire cycle. And now that's going to start filling up. Now it says it takes 81 minutes. Of course, it helps to turn on the water so that it starts filling. Oh my goodness. Alright, so there is some water leaking, but the majority of it's coming down here and not dripping underneath the faucet, even though there's just a little bit. But here, the water is coming in this direction, which is really what I was hoping, if there is any. That way this towel will stay even drier. In fact, I just felt back there that was pretty dry, so that's coming the direction that I want it to. I'd really rather not have any at all, but in the meantime, now you can hear my washer is full. It's washing, and I need to add the clothes to it, but I'm going to shut the water off while this is not needed. Now I would like there to be a little bit more water in here, but since it's about 3/4 full, I just put in 3 pillowcases and 3 light t-shirts so that they can get clean, and that should help really hold it up. Oh my goodness. You can see my hand in the reflection of the glass, but this really does work very well. Now they're ready to go to the dryer, which of course is hanging outside on a line, but that's the first load. You know, one of these days, hopefully, I will start remembering to pull out the camera and video when I do things like this. So I have this hook that I had out here, and it was in the ground. I actually had it in one of these planters down here and was trying to hold that line, that black thing hanging there, on here so that I could hang my clothes. But that wasn't working out very well. Then I had the brilliant idea of taking it and drilling a hole in the bottom, since that's got a nice thick stem there, but then look, it hooks over there, and so that's giving me a little additional weight on it, so it will hold on better. So, but then I've got these C brackets that I had gotten there 1/2 inch. I should have gotten 1/4 inch, but I've had them for a while. I can't return them, so I just figured out a way of being able to do this. And so, looking at this real close, if I can get it, right here, I put in a screw so that it would be able to hold that. And so now that is attached there, and I've got a delivery, so hold on. Okay, so that screw is just kind of making it so that this will go back and forth. But then I also took this rope so tied it around. It's tied around this post of the railing, and so hopefully it'll be tight enough I can take the line and put on there, and hopefully be able to hang my clothes out a little bit higher and not touch the ground. Well, obviously it's still a work in progress, but it is holding these off the ground for now. It is better, but that hook turned inward because of the tension. So I'm going to need to take that one area that's down lowest on the rail and tie it to the rail post and see how it works out. But for now, the first load is out drying. Okay, I was able to get it turned the other way for the time being, and there's the second load just outside drying. Third one is just about done, so these will be coming in. They look like they're pretty dry, and putting this third load out. I'm hoping to get even one more done today. This was just a fascinating thing. I had taken all of that duct tape off of there because I needed to take this off to get some additional water on the last load to put in there. So that was interesting, but I didn't put the duct tape back on there. I think because of the way I have this pipe or this tubing, it's not really giving that much. There is some dripping, but it's not as much as it had been, and it's not squirting out all over the place. So that actually is really good. I'm really glad that that is working that way. Okay, it's back in its lovely little spot. I don't know, sometimes I want to cover it, but for the nice time being, it's got a perfect little spot right here.